Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, where it is right now, where it's going to go, and also we're going to be talking about some bullish sentiment and bullish news in the ecosystem. Obviously, we've been through a bit of a rough ride over the last couple of days, but I've told you guys to expect this. Now, we are still trading within our channel that we've discussed before, and again, our safe zone is in between the 32,000 and the 42,000. So of course, right now we are holding. We have wicked below this zone before, and we could still wick below this zone. I wouldn't be terribly concerned unless we break down here below around $29,000. But we do have people saying that their price targets are $27,000. I think Robert Rich Dad Poor Dad guy essentially said that he's buying more Bitcoin at 27,000, and I do think that he could actually see that price target in a pretty wicked wick. So it is always a potential that you go onto Binance and open up a buy order for around that price. But I am fully expecting at this point for Bitcoin to just trade within this zone. Now, to go over what happened over the last couple of hours, people saw this head and shoulders formation and expected it to go down to the downturn, but we are consistently seeing lower lows and lower highs, which does show a bearish trend. So you can see exactly where we're going right now. We're obviously going on a more downwards trend, right? And if this wedge is still an upwards wedge like this, it really could break out either which way. But I am expecting that we do go further down to the downside, but I know that there's going to be a lot of buying pressure in those areas. So I don't think that it would cause any alarm for concern. I think it's going to be an opportunity for a lot of money to get into the system. It will be scary, needless to say. So if it does get down to this $30,000 mark or even below sub $30,000 for Bitcoin, that's going to be pretty scary, but you should keep your wits about you and buy Bitcoin and the altcoins that get suffered through the drop. So we do see a lot of health in the crypto market right now. We are currently at roughly $1.6 trillion. ADA is still holding at around $1.65. So we still see ADA holding above our $1.50 mark, building that resistance, trading level. It's everything that we like to see with Cardano. So totally fine with Cardano making these types of moves. The big thing that we want to discuss is Ethereum. So Ethereum, we've discussed this before. Ethereum hasn't lost much of its gains in terms of the other tokens. So a lot of tokens lost their gains back to around February, whereas Ethereum has really recovered a good amount and basically back to its April level. So we are still seeing a lot of health in Ethereum, and that's to be escalated by the actual sentiment in the crypto market space and in investment space in general, because Goldman Sachs is now saying that Ethereum looks to be in a position to dominate the crypto market. And actually, in fact, they even say that it could overtake Bitcoin dominance as a store of value. So we do know that smart contracts are coming for Bitcoin, but that doesn't change the fact that we know Ethereum 2.0 is going to make it a deflationary asset and most likely be an incredible store of value. What do we see when we see things like Cardano, see things like Polkadot? We see Web 3.0, quicker, faster, cheaper products. But could it be possible that Ethereum becomes this amazing store of value with smart contracts? It's very possible. Of course, Bitcoin is going to get the same capability with the Taproot function with smart contracts. So that is coming. But obviously, we are in an area where we could actually see what we call a flippening in terms of Ethereum taking over Bitcoin's market cap. And really, Ethereum wouldn't even need to pump that high to do that. It probably would need maybe a 120% increase from here right now to get to that point. Of course, Bitcoin would have to trade level and stay at around this level for that to happen. But it is realistic to say that we could see this market cycle. Ethereum could actually take over Bitcoin. We see the sentiment changing. There's a lot of sentiment about dirty energy and then Bitcoin and now Ethereum. The part that I don't quite get is ETH 2.0 isn't quite out, so we're still on the proof of work system. Hell, I even passively mine on my PC. But hey, it is what it is. FUD is just FUD. But at this point, we can look at Ethereum and altcoins much more bullishly than we can look at Bitcoin. So I know that we're talking about a crypto lull or a Bitcoin lull specifically over the next couple of months. If we just trade within our channel here, we maybe get some scary dips, up and down, maybe go down into this zone, maybe even dip down a little bit further and then make our way back up and then trade within this zone until finally we are able to break out. Those are things that could happen, but we could also see altcoins do a bigger move throughout that point. And we also see a bunch of hype around DeFi and everything else. You see all the discussion about Matic, PokeSwap, everything else. So there's a lot of bullish sentiment in the DeFi space. But if you look at maybe what crypto did back in 2018, and I know we discussed back in our March dip, we could see something similar where we just recover slowly. I think that might be a little out of the cards, but if we see something similar to what we saw back here and line that up, you can see our fractal goes in, and even in our fractal, it can test down into this zone. And like I said, we've talked about this zone before. We can test down and we can test lower and trade within, still kind of be fine. But this is our danger zone. And then eventually make our move up to 42,000 and work our way back up to 52,000, which I've discussed is when we can start being more bullish on the actual market cycle and where we're going to see a market cycle peak. And this, of course, would bring our market to start back in December of 2021. So essentially, we could see the crypto bull market re-engage itself before the new year even happens. And then we're in another bull cycle in the new year and finish up and go to a legitimate market peak. So this is all realistic. This is all a good real possibility that we could just see a heavy accumulation period in this area for Bitcoin. But that doesn't mean that altcoins can't pump separate to that, or we couldn't see like a DeFi boom that pumps adjacent to Bitcoin trading in the slow period. Actually, it could be very bullish for the altcoins if the altcoins are able to hold a significant amount of strength. We do see that the total altcoin market is up right now, excluding Bitcoin, but realistically, everything is driven by the Bitcoin market price. So I'm a little hesitant to say exactly that altcoins are going to pump without Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin still needs to be above 42,000 to see altcoins pump. But realistically, it doesn't have to be. We still could see altcoins pump, and we see that with a good amount of health with Cardano, with Ethereum, and with a number of other altcoins. There's still a lot of health in this market, and we could hypothetically see the market rebound, but I still think if Bitcoin dips below the 32,000 mark, so if we do get down into that scary zone, I do think altcoins are going to go with it, maybe for a short period of time, but maybe they'll rebound a little bit easier. So we do see the total crypto market cap at $1.66 trillion right now. Bitcoin is trading at 36,700, Ethereum 26,000, and it's going up straight up. So good for Ethereum. Cardano's holding a lot of its support at $1.66. I think Cardano has performed excellently throughout this whole dip. Even if you're a little bit disappointed that Cardano isn't trading above $2, I don't know what to tell you. This dip that Cardano suffered is nothing compared to what the rest of the crypto market suffered. And there's a lot of Cardano maxis out there. So your portfolios are probably looking pretty juicy right about now. But even amidst everything, we do see markets are lighting up a little bit nicer. It really depends to what happens on market open Tuesday morning. So we will see what traditional markets do as well. But we could still see a downturn for Bitcoin. Again, we've discussed this. We're going into this wedge pattern here. And if we do break out to the downside, we could get down to those scary levels that we've been talking about over and over, that we could end up seeing a Bitcoin for a temporary period of time under $30,000. And again, if we hit under around $28,000, that's probably like my panic button. And if we hold there, meaning if we get like a daily or a weekly candle close down there, that is a little bit of a different deal in terms of what our sentiment should be, at least for the near term. Obviously, like I said, it's a little scary. We can see those wicks, those candles. But is it a reality? Like I said, I think it's a reality that we wick down there. Is it a reality that we close down there? I'm a little bit speculative whether or not we'll close down there. If we do a daily close down there, we still have a good level of support. But if we close more weekly close down in this level, sub 30K, we could be in a little bit of trouble in the near term for Bitcoin. But there is always the chance of us breaking out again and retesting. Now, I do think that we need to have a bearish sentiment on Bitcoin as long as we're trading within this channel. So I do think that even if we do push up against the 42,000 mark, we'll probably be rejected and work our way along here until finally we can build up some support. And we discussed it with the fractal. That brings us into a bull market in 2022. So it's realistic that we go through a bearish trend, trade level, and then pick this up at a later date. That would be the best situation for everyone involved. And also, I can't personally see a Bitcoin dipping down to $27,000 and there not be a frenzy to buy Bitcoin at that level. I really, really cannot see that. So realistically, I see the most probable outcome of this whole thing is that we trade level, trade sideways, consolidate for a little bit, and then pick this up at a later time. That's it for me, everybody. Hopefully you guys liked. I have to do a little bit of noise treatment here because there's an echo in this room. I'm getting foam, I promise, so it's going to sound better. You might not even notice it. And if you do notice it, just know I notice it too, and it drives me up the wall. So trust me, I'm as upset with it as you are. But that's it for me. If you like the video and like the effort that I put into these videos, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel for more crypto news and content. And of course, happy hodling.